Hi everyone, welcome back. Of course, Lamisha here from LamishaSerf-Walls.com, bringing you another Mindset Monday tip for your week. Today we are talking about assumptions and how important it is for you to really understand and reflect upon the assumptions that you're making when you get triggered and when your mindset sort of starts to go down the rabbit hole, right? So this is one of those things that I've been talking about and I've been hearing a lot from clients recently. And a lot of the conversations have been around situations have happened, whether it's a phone call, an email, an interaction with someone, something happens, some event happens, and then the client will reach out and say, I feel some kind of way about this. Like I'm feeling negatively or my mindset is going in this direction after this situation. And so what I do, and this is a really good tool for you to use, you could do this on your own, you don't have to do it with a coach. If you are aware of what your triggered situation is, then it's really easy to do. So what you do is you take a moment and you reflect back on the situation and you ask yourself, what assumptions am I making about this situation? What assumptions am I making about this person or this conversation? Or what am I making this mean? That's another way of kind of thinking of it. And so when you get to the assumption piece, when you get to the piece that says, look, I'm actually assuming that I know that this person, doesn't want to talk to me anymore, or I'm assuming that this conversation they want to have with my boss is that they're going to fire me. Or I'm assuming that this person wants to get a refund on their program. Or I'm assuming that this situation is going to pan out the way that I want it to. And what's so interesting about this is that as human beings, the way that our brains typically work is when we are interacting and we're in circumstances and situations, especially those things that can be triggering, we often will jump into our head and there's like a whole team in there analyzing everything and sort of looking at it and immediately creating some sort of truth based on what we think we know about the person, about our relationship, about the circumstances, about whatever our experience has been. So very often, and more often than not, we're actually wrong. Like whatever the assumption is, we go through this big, massive, analyzing, triggered, I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm worried, I'm doubtful. We go through all of these emotions really for no reason because we don't know for a fact that our assumptions are true, right? We all know the saying about making assumptions, right? When you assume, I'll let you fill in the blank. So when you are using this tool in terms of your mindset, what I encourage clients to do is when you feel triggered, take a moment and realize you've been triggered. And then take a step back and ask yourself, what assumptions am I making about this situation? Because if you just get a phone call and they say, hey, I looked at this report that you sent, let's meet about it. That's all they say. And you're triggered and you're worried, do I need to look for a new job? Do I need to figure this out? What's going to happen? And you're kind of going down the rabbit hole. Take a step back and ask, what assumptions am I making about that? Because number one, it's going to help you get out of that triggered space. And number two, it's really going to highlight some of the beliefs that are worth working on in order to transform that trigger so that you don't have that anymore. Does that make sense? So what we're talking about two different things. We're actually talking about clearing the trigger in the moment, like getting over that moment, but also we're talking about future triggers. We're talking about how can I identify that that is a trigger point or a pain point for me, and now I know that this belief is here, I can now incorporate that into my daily practice so it's no longer an issue. Okay, and this tool is really, really powerful. Now, the trick is that you have to be aware of what your triggers are. So I'm going to give you an exercise. You can do this now because you can kind of look back at, let's say, the last month of when you've been triggered. And I want you to go back and actually look at those situations and ask yourself, what was the situation in this moment? What assumptions did I make about this moment? And you're going to get a ton of information about what are some of the trigger points for you and how you can transform them. Okay? So that is my tip for you today. I hope it is helpful. Remember, none of this is worth anything if you don't put it into action. So please, 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 use these exercises. Go back to my YouTube channel. Check out all of the other mindset tips that will give you lots of really great information as we move forward into the new year, okay? I've got some really exciting things planned really through the end of this year, funny enough, but also into 2020. I'm booking new clients for 2020, so if that is something that you're interested in, please reach out. I've got a free training that I'm going to be sharing with you in the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. I also have a group program that's happening in January, so lots of really cool things to get you ready for the new year, to get you into the right mindset, to really take on your goals and enjoy and create the life that you really, really want. So stay tuned for all of that. If you have questions about this or any of the other content that I share, please feel free to reach out. And of course, as always, if you're interested in chatting a bit more about mindset work and what it's like to work with a coach, reach out, send me a message. I'd love to chat with you, okay? Hope you guys are having a great week, and I will chat with you soon.